Did you know that we've walked on the moon, yet we haven't achieved walking on the deepest part of the ocean? Hi folks, and thank you for joining me once again on Rico's Nature Realm. My name is Rico. On this channel, I'll be exploring natural phenomena. So let's buckle in, and I hope you enjoy the journey. Today on Rico's Nature Realm, we take a look at the world's oceans. What's an ocean? An ocean's a very large body of salt water. Oh, and they are very salty. Oceans fill up the area between lands and continents. If anybody refers to the body of sea, it's an area that's enclosed by land that holds water. The name ocean is derived from the Greek titan known as Oceanus. Don't know how many people have actually heard that name before. Between sharks, jellyfish, tsunamis, drowning, strong currents, some people actually have a fear of the ocean. This is known as thalassophobia. I myself enjoy the ocean. It's so much fun. Swimming, snorkeling, boating, fishing. There's plenty of fun things to do. But of course it's not for everybody. There are some land dwellers out there. According to most modern estimates, the surface area of the Earth is approximately 510 million square kilometres. Wow. Of this, 71% of the Earth's surface is covered by water. That works out to be approximately 361 million square kilometres. Earth's continents, on the other hand, cover the remaining 149 million square kilometres. For such a small planet, it sounds like a large area. Of the total water of the Earth, 95% remains unexplored. This is due to the vast darkness and the pressure that builds up as we go deep into the ocean. So we need a bit of assistance with submarines just to get down there. I'm sure we'll get there sooner or later. Now, the ocean is broken up into 5 sections. The first area is known as the Pacific Ocean, and that's the largest, covering an area of 168,723,000 square kilometres. This is a significant part of the Earth. With such a large area, this means all the continents of 149 million square kilometres can fit in the Pacific Ocean. This would make travelling to continents and different countries a lot easier. The Atlantic Ocean is the next in size. It's about half the size of 85,133,000 square kilometres. The third being the Indian Ocean at 70,560,000 square kilometres. The fourth being the Southern Ocean at 21,960,000 square kilometres. And the smallest, which is still a staggering of 15,558,000 square kilometres. I've always wondered, which one of these did Aquaman live in? If anybody can tell me, put it on the comments below. The deepest part of the ocean is located at Challenger Deep. That's within an area that's known as the Mariana Trench. It's come up before. I'm sure a lot of people have heard it, but if you haven't, this is located in the Western Pacific Ocean. It's at a depth of 36,300 feet. Now, I prefer to work in metres, and that's 11,030 metres. That works out to be about 1 mile deeper than Everest is tall, and probably a lot easier to climb considering there's water around you. Now, if you can get past the water pressure and the darkness, it will be easier. The water pressure at the bottom, though, equates to 8 tonnes per square inch. That's like having 50 jumbo jets sitting on top of you. I reckon Superman can handle it, but there's nobody that I know that can handle that. Nobody's walked at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, but 6 people have descended in submarines. That's amazing. I wonder what the footage is like. I'm sure they had a great time. If you are a keen diver, and there's a lot of people out there that are, most divers are usually instructed to dive to no more than about 130 feet deep. Any further than this, you run the risk of having your lungs collapse as a result of increased hydrostatic pressure. The world's deepest scuba dive was conducted by Ahmed Gabr, I hope I pronounced that correctly, and that's in Dahab in the Red Sea. This was done on the 18th and 19th of September 2014. He went to a depth of 332.35 metres. Wow, that's more than double. Oh, it's probably close to about 3 times. It took him 15 minutes to reach his depths and over 13 hours to ascend. Wow, that's amazing. Now, the oceans were created at the beginning of Earth's creation. That was about 4.6 billion years ago. This is known as a Hadean eon. Currently, we have about 50% of the world's animals that live in the water. However, for 3 billion years, life lived in the ocean, and that's before we made our way onto land. Now we haven't looked back. There is a flow of water that moves around the Earth, and I don't know how many people have heard of this. This is known as a thermohaline circulation. It takes about 1,000 years to circulate the entirety of the Earth. Quite a long time, but it makes its way around. Have you ever gone to the beach and actually ingested some water? What an awful taste. Yuck. This is due to the high concentration of salt that I mentioned earlier. For every 1 litre of ocean water, it has about 35 grams of salt. This equates to 38.5 quadrillion tonnes of salt in the ocean. Not to be used for cooking, but there's a lot of salt in there. Where does the salt come from? The salt comes from the rivers that flow into the ocean. It picks up the salt minerals from the soil and rocks as they erode, washing into the ocean. Wow, that's an amazing bit of information for you. 12% of the ocean is ice, and that's in the North and South Pole. Now, if they all melted, the ocean levels will rise by approximately 66 metres. Does anybody like looking at waterfalls? Known as the Denmark Strait, there is a waterfall that's in the ocean. It's the largest waterfall on Earth, and it's located between Greenland and Iceland. It has a drop of 11,500 feet, and it's 50 times faster than Niagara Falls. Spectacular sight, I'm sure. 96.5% of the world's water is in the ocean, as opposed to the rivers and the seas. Have you heard of a place called Point Nemo Island? Yes, there is such a place. Okay, it's the furthest point in the ocean from land, and it's in the Pacific Ocean. It's 2,688 kilometres or 1,670 miles from the nearest land. I've put some coordinates up there for anybody that wants to look where it is. I wonder if Nemo's ever visited the Nemo Island. Be interesting to know. It's estimated that by 2050, though, we'll have more rubbish in the sea than marine life. Ooh, that's a not very good statistic that we're looking at. Now, coral reefs cover 1% of the ocean, and it supports 25% of sea life. This is where Nemo lives. He lives along the Great Barrier Reef along the coast of Australia. I've actually been there. Very nice place to visit. Didn't meet Nemo though. Found around volcanic areas, hydrothermal vents, also known as deep sea vents, where tectonic plates move, letting out heat that can reach up to 400 degrees Celsius. Only the pressure from the water at that depth will stop it from boiling, so it cools down pretty quickly. Animal life. Plenty of animals in the ocean. Remember when I said 50%? The largest animal on Earth is, not surprising, it's found in the ocean. It's known as a blue whale, measuring up to 100 feet and up to 200 tonne. Now, its heart is the size of a small car and its tongue the size of an elephant. Wow. Now, the largest recorded reached a staggering 33 metres. Now, that's the same length as an 11-storey building. There is some debate on the fastest sea creature, though. That could be either the sailfish that swims at about 100 metres in 4.8 seconds, or the marlin that swims at approximately 80 miles an hour. If anybody can tell me, please write it in the comments. At around 3,000 metres below the surface of the ocean, you'll no longer be able to see any sunlight. With some parts of the ocean, that's less than 1/10 of the way to the bottom. While some deep-sea creatures have adopted these habits, humans simply don't possess the same capabilities. Many creatures that live further down glow in the dark. This is called bioluminescent. With the ghostfish living, yes, they are living, up to 8,143 metres below the surface. Surprisingly, 70% of the oxygen that we breathe comes from the oceans. It's created from algae. Who would have thought so much? Did you also know that jellyfish have been around for 650 million years? They are such graceful swimmers, aren't they? Shipwrecks. It's also estimated that there are approximately 3 million shipwrecks at the bottom of the ocean. It is believed that there's more artefacts with these shipwrecks than in all the museums in all the world. Wow. Sooner or later, I'm sure we'll get most of it. Approximately 10,000 shipping containers fall into the ocean every year. This is no wonder I'm still waiting for that online order. When will it be here? Thanks for joining me, folks, and see you on the next video. Bye for now.